Stay tuned, everybody, because it's time for the Playin on Music Row podcast with your host, Fran. Heard each week on this station. And now, here's Fran.
Well, welcome, everyone. I am proud today to introduce you to Lisa Thornqvist. She will just be playing our music role with us today. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us today, Lisa.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Well, let's start off with this way. I understand that you grew up in Sweden, and maybe you can tell us a little about the journey. You know, we got from Sweden. I know you were in Nashville. How were you doing here in the States?
Oh, goodness me. Well, I try to cut the shorter story rather than the long version, but yeah, so I grew up in Sweden. I moved to England when I was 17. But I didn't grow up with country music as such. I've only got into country music about 5 years ago. So I grew up with pop music, Eurovision. Eurovision is kind of big in Europe, but I grew up with ABBA and kind of Swedish artists predominantly. So country music was relatively new to me when I kind of dived into it 5 years ago. But I've always been singing all my life, more of a closet singer, I would say. My parents didn't know that I could sing or hold a key. They didn't know that at all, but I was always playing loud music and singing along. So it wasn't until I was like early 40s until they knew that I was a singer. All right. So I heard a country band on the radio when I was in Sweden. I moved back from England, living there for 20 years, came back to Sweden where my family is. And I heard a country band on the radio, Sugarland, and stuck like glue. And it stuck in my head, basically. And then I dived into them, looking into their music, and absolutely loved them. And then from there, I looked into more country artists and decided that, I think I'm gonna start singing country music, and that's kind of where it started. And then from then, I wanted to visit Nashville. So then I couldn't think of anything else. I have to go to Nashville and explore. So in 2016, I ended up in Nashville for my first time with a friend. And I knew I was going to love it. And then I was hooked. So it was basically since 2016, I got into country music and started singing country music. So that's kind of the shorter version of it. But it's been absolutely amazing because I wanted to go and explore the talent that was there. And if I stood up to the mark, I guess, and getting inspired. And boy, was I inspired by so many people. You know, as a tourist, you go down on Lower Broadway and you see all these people. And I thought, wow, this is what I want to do as well. So that has been my journey ever since, diving into, country music and exploring more artists, more bands as I go along. So.
How long were you in Nashville?
Well, I was there. I came as a tourist. We went for 4 days initially, and then I decided, coming back to Sweden after that I was gonna leave my job and go to Nashville. So within 6 months, I decided I'm gonna leave my job as an administrator and go to Nashville. And so I was in Nashville for 3 months. I went in December 2016, and then I found a guitarist in Nashville that is still a very good friend of mine, and we kept contact. And but then I had to go back to Sweden because of visa and all of that kind of stuff. And then he said, "Oh, well, hey, Lisa, are you coming back to Nashville?" And I said, "As soon as I can." And then I was back in Nashville again for another 3 months. exploring everything that Nashville had to offer. I've been to a lot of places, but the dream was always to come back, to Nashville again. But it took me to come back to the US again. It's taken me 5 years. But in the meantime, I've been working on my artistry, my music portfolio, and the journey has taken me via London again and Argentina to pursue country music and working on my music, because it was a little bit difficult for me to come back to the US again. But now I'm here. I'm studying music in Los Angeles, in Santa Monica. But I'm on my way back to Nashville again, finally, after 5 years. So I should be there in the summer again.
Yeah, well, great. You recorded a song. By the way, what I was going to say is, I can imagine the surprise on your parents when you said, you're going to say, well, guess what? I can sing, and I'm going to leave my job.
Yeah, that's a bit of a shocker.
Well, you released the song All My Life. Could you tell us a little bit about the recording process of that song?
Oh gosh, yeah. Actually, I'm also a script writer. I like to write script writing for music videos. That process I started also in Argentina, where I found like a story to tell. So this one is based on, I actually got to sing in a prison in Argentina, and it's kind of loosely based on an inmate, his life story about being on the streets, into drugs, and ended up in prison. So the story of that song came about because of his story. I didn't get to meet him, but I was told about his story, and then it just came about that way. So I wrote the script first, and then I came across this song, which is more like spiritual, and it fitted the story. So that's why I ended up recording this song. It's a beautiful song, but the script came first before the song.
Okay.
So
let's listen. We're going to listen to it now.
Great.
Been close and far away, but my confidence is this: He'll always stop His trace. All my life I will lift up Your praises to the end of the ages. I will sing of Your love. Your love won't stop. Oh, it runs like a You have so freely given every piece of Your heart. In my love and loss, I will not forget where my help comes from. Time and time again, all my life I will lift up Your praises to the end of the ages. I will sing of Your love. Your love won't stop. Oh, it runs like a river. You have so freely given every piece of Your heart. Almighty Redeemer, my hope and my strength.
Oh, very nice. Where was that shot?
In Gonzales, Texas.
Oh, so you were in Texas too. Okay, we missed that place before.
Yeah, that's also a very, I just get things in my head and I'm thinking, oh, Texas, I need to shoot it in Texas. And that's where I ended up. But it took a lot of research, but got to meet amazing people.
Okay, well, talk about getting things in your head. Where do you find you get your ideas for songs?
It's mainly like thinking of, life experience from myself and other people, I think. But like with the script writing I do for the music videos, just an idea and then it grows from a small thing. So that's where it comes from. But I'm yet to develop like my songwriting skills, but I meet a lot of nice people along the way that's willing to help me.
Okay. Well, good. Yeah, they sure are. Let me ask this question. I know you mentioned a few artists earlier in the interview, but can you give us maybe a more detailed list of some of the artists or writers that have influenced you?
If we're talking like country music, there
Where,
or just general.
sure,
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, obviously I grew up with ABBA, so I started singing, to those songs and probably knew them all by heart by 4 or 5 years old. So very, very, they were my idols, growing up. And then it developed more into like pop artists, some Swedish, some international, like Roxette, who are Swedish. So it's a mix of pop rock, but as of late I've discovered so many like country artists, like the Dixie Chicks, Miranda Lambert, Brett Young, Tony Jackson, Alan Jackson, Sugarland, of course, and a new artist like Ashley McBride, I love, and Dolly Parton, naturally. So yeah, there are so many. But I like all kinds of different music, soul music. It's all intertwined, I guess, but I listen to anything.
Okay. Well, it's kind of like I'm like the same way. I like a lot of different genres of music. But Mrs., how would you describe your sound, though? Your sound, is it a combination of all those, or do you have
I would say, yeah, I mean, my sound would be like a contemporary country, throwing in a little bit of spirituality there, but I would say like contemporary country.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you recorded one of my favorite songs, which is 16th Avenue.
Oh, love that. I can sing that every day. I
Yeah.
love that song. Yeah.
And I'm gonna think we're gonna play it. And so what I want to do, though, is I want to find out a little bit about the process of recording that, because you have a very interesting intro, which really fits with the song. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about how that all came about.
Well, I have my Spotify list, and all of a sudden that song came on, and I was just very drawn. As soon as I heard it, sorry, I have a dog running back around here. And I was just very drawn to the song, and then I recorded it when I was in Argentina.
Okay.
And I like to improvise a little bit sometimes when I hear something, a piece of music, and just go what I hear and what I think would be fitting to the song.
Okay. Oh, well, let's listen to it now. They can hear the very interesting intro to 16th Avenue by Lisa Thornqvist.
From the corners of the country, from the cities and the farms, with years and years of living tucked up underneath their arms, they walk away from everything just to see a dream come true. So God bless the boys that make the noise on 16th Avenue. With $1 million spirit and an old flat-top guitar, they drown a town with all they own in $100 car. 'Cause one time someone told them about a friend of a friend they knew, who owns, you know, a studio on 16th Avenue. Now some were born of money, they never had to say survive, and others swing a 9-pound hammer just to stay alive. There's cowboys, drunks, and Christians, mostly white and black and blue. They've all dialed the phone, collect to home from 16th Avenue. But then one night in some empty room with no curtains ever hung, like a miracle, some golden words roll off from someone's tongue. And after years of being nothing, they're all looking right at you. And for a while they go in style on 16th Avenue. It looks so uneventful, so quiet and discreet, but a lot of lives will change down on that little one-way street. 'Cause they walk away from everything just to see a dream come true. So God bless the boys that make the noise on 16th Avenue. From the corners of the country, from the cities and the farms, with years and years of living tucked up underneath their arms, they walk away from everything just to see a dream come true. So God bless the boys that make the noise on 16th Avenue.
Well, wonderful. Back
Sorry,
on
I forgot about that that idea. The intro, yeah. That just popped into my head too. I was going to make something funny and from the 1930s kind of. So that's what happened.
that's what music's all about. It's great. I thought it was great. Okay. And you got some interesting places where you've performed, maybe some radio and stuff like that. Could you give us a little idea of some of the places you've performed and maybe who you've performed with?
Well, I think sort of when I started out, when I came to National, I met the guitarist. We performed in London. We did some open mic, and we also, when I was in Argentina, I performed at a country, one of the, Argentina's biggest country festivals, called San Pedro, which is held like 3 days in a row, about 60,000 people. So he came down, Joe, my friend, he came down to Argentina, and I set up a band, and we performed there. And we also took part of a couple of radio stations as well, because I was there for like nearly 3 years. So, and then I performed at another country festival called Santa Anita in Buenos Aires. So, and then open mics in Nashville as well. Not much here in Los Angeles, but I'm starting to go out and gonna be performing here as well. So I've been doing a lot of like studio work and making my videos predominantly, but now it's time to kind of get out and be performing more. So I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, well, good. I want to ask you, as far as the projects, you kind of mentioned you were going to be doing some writing. Are you working on a project now?
I am, yeah. I'm collaborating with a songwriter out of Nashville for an original song. So this is my next project to come out with original songs and working on those and putting some country tunes together. So I'm really looking forward to that process as well, because I'm sort of diving into it as a newbie person, but yeah, it's just collaborating with other people and trying to get something out there. So that's exciting for me too.
Well, sure. Okay. Well, I'm sure that when you get the new project, you'll probably be touring and in support of that project. So can you tell us maybe how people can find out more about your music and when you're gonna be touring and when you get ready to perform again?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can see me on YouTube predominantly because I like to be creative with my music videos. So when I have a good song, then I like to write a script to it. And so that process usually takes a bit longer, but you can watch me on YouTube, Lisa Thornqvist, and you could also hear me on Spotify, and I have my Facebook page, lisathornqvist.com, if you can type it. But yeah, I have my Facebook page, Lisa Thornqvist, Lisa Thorn, I think it is actually.
Okay. And that's THORNQVIST, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Everybody understands that because they're going to want to find out more about your music.
I know. Well, you pronounce it perfectly, Fran.
Thank you. Let me ask you a question. I've asked you a lot of different questions, right? Now, is there anything I haven't asked you that you would like to tell the listening audience?
What else? Well, I'm coming to Nashville in June, so I'm looking forward to meet people and looking forward to collaborate with people and get out there performing. So if you want to come and see me, I'll advertise it on my Facebook page where I'm going to be performing. So very much looking forward to see everybody.
Okay, well, good. We at the Nashville Broadcasting Network want to thank you, Lisa Thornqvist, for taking the time to speak with us. We really appreciate it. It's very nice of you to do that.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're quite welcome.